Hi Hammers fans! Quick reminder, drop a like, hit subscribe, and leave your comment below. That way, you'll always be the first to catch every update about West Ham United. Things are heating up behind the scenes of London football, and the latest name on West Ham's radar is Israeli winger Manor, a Tottenham Hotspur player currently enduring a difficult spell in Spain. On loan at Villarreal since the end of the summer window, Solomon has failed to settle in and is now reportedly unhappy with his situation. According to both English and Spanish outlets, the winger himself has asked to cut his loan short and return to London in January. West Ham, always alert to market opportunities and aware of Nuno Espirito Santo's squad needs, has emerged as a strong contender for Solomon's return. The idea of bringing in a player with Solomon's traits, quick, incisive, and used to the Premier League tempo, is one that appeals to the Hammers' hierarchy. Reports suggest that the East London club has already made an initial approach to Tottenham to understand the terms of a potential deal, although it remains unclear whether they prefer a loan or a permanent move. At Villarreal, Solomon's time has been underwhelming. He has made only 4 La Liga appearances so far, a frustrating figure for a player who hoped to use the loan as a showcase. After Crystal Palace withdrew from negotiations at the last minute, Solomon accepted Villarreal's proposal in the final hours of the window, but adaptation never came. The Spanish side, struggling for consistency this season, failed to fit him into their offensive system, and the winger, more comfortable with the high-paced rhythm of English football, reportedly felt misplaced within their slower build-up play. For Tottenham, the situation is uncomfortable as well. The club had planned the loan as a way to give game time to a player who had yet to secure his place under Ange Postecoglou. Now, with the winger unhappy and requesting an early return, Spurs must decide whether to reintegrate him into the squad or look for another destination. And that's where West Ham could offer a convenient solution for everyone involved. West Ham's interest in Solomon isn't just about opportunity. Nuno Espirito Santo's squad has lacked depth on the wings, especially when the team needs to shift the pace or react in tight games. The board sees Solomon as someone who could bring versatility to the attack, capable of playing wide on the left or drifting into more central creative roles. The Portuguese coach has reportedly approved the inquiry, viewing the player as a good fit for the quick transition style he wants to establish at West Ham. However, the move is still at an early stage. Tottenham would need to agree to end Solomon's loan spell with Villarreal prematurely, and the Spanish club would also have to consent to the termination. Yet, according to sources close to the player, his desire to return to London is strong enough to push the deal forward. Ideally, Tottenham would conclude the arrangement with Villarreal and negotiate directly with West Ham, possibly for another loan until the end of the season. What's striking is that this move aligns with a trend West Ham has shown since Nuno took charge, targeting players who are eager to prove themselves. Solomon perfectly fits that profile. He would arrive with the motivation to leave behind a frustrating chapter and rediscover the spark that once made him stand out during his spells at Shakhtar Donetsk and Fulham. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. Manor Solomon's potential arrival at West Ham goes far beyond a simple market opportunity. Behind this move lies a clear strategy from the Hammers board, who see in the Israeli winger a chance to strengthen the squad with someone already familiar with English football, but still far from reaching his peak. The club aims to turn Solomon's frustration at Villarreal into an advantage. Tottenham, meanwhile, are handling the situation carefully. Ange Postecoglou, who is shaping his team around intensity and constant movement, knows that Solomon can offer useful qualities, but he also understands that the winger would have to compete for minutes with Brennan Johnson and Dejan Kulusevski. For that reason, the Australian manager is unlikely to block the move, especially if a deal can ease the wage bill while keeping the player active. Still, even though Solomon isn't a top priority at Spurs, he remains viewed as a valuable market asset, and the club won't let him go for cheap. In London, West Ham fans have already reacted positively to the rumors. The team, inconsistent since Nuno Espirito Santo took over, needs faster and more creative options on the wings. The Portuguese manager's style relies heavily on pace and transition, and Solomon could provide exactly that. His dribbling, quick changes of direction, and ability to take on defenders one-on-one are traits the Hammers have lacked since Felipe Anderson's departure, and more recently, Said Benrahma's drop in form. There is also a symbolic element that makes this potential deal more intriguing: the rivalry between West Ham and Tottenham. Seeing a Spurs player switch to claret and blue always sparks noise, especially when the transfer involves an active member of the rival club. West Ham supporters know the emotional weight these moves carry in London, and the mere idea of Solomon arriving at the London Stadium has already stirred conversation between both fan bases. West Ham's plan is to build a squad with more offensive depth and the ability to shift gears during matches. In recent months, the team has struggled whenever asked to take the initiative, something evident in several recent defeats. The lack of attacking depth has forced Nuno to rely too often on the same names, overworking players like Bowen and Kudus. Solomon in this context would provide an immediate alternative, giving the team new combinations and energy, especially in the second half of games. From a personal point of view, Solomon has his own reasons to want to return to England. Life in Spain hasn't been easy, both culturally and tactically. The Israeli is said to have missed the competitive nature and fast tempo of the Premier League, which perfectly match his style. Off the pitch, distance from family, language barriers, and instability at Villarreal have all contributed to his desire to return home. For West Ham, bringing in Solomon would also send a clear message that the club remains ambitious and proactive in the market. Nuno Espirito Santo has made it known internally that he wants to build a more dynamic and unpredictable team. Solomon could be the first step in that transformation. Even on loan, he would bring competition and tactical flexibility to the attacking line. Tottenham, of course, will keep a close eye on developments. Lending Solomon to a direct rival might seem risky, but it makes sense if the goal is to boost his confidence and value. Should he perform well for West Ham, he could return to Spurs more mature, either ready to compete for a place in the squad or to be sold for a higher fee. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the claret and blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. If the deal goes through and Manor Solomon puts on a West Ham shirt, the impact could be felt on multiple levels. From a sporting perspective, the team would gain a player already accustomed to the Premier League's rhythm, with valuable international experience from various clubs and European competitions. At 26 years old, Solomon still has room to grow, especially under Nuno Espirito Santo, a coach known for bringing the best out of offensive talents. Solomon's arrival could also serve as a symbol of West Ham's new chapter. The club is in transition, seeking a balance between ambition and stability after years of highs and lows under David Moyes. Nuno wants to implement a more aggressive and modern identity, which requires players capable of quick thinking, improvisation, and creating space. Solomon fits that profile perfectly. He's the kind of player who can change the course of a game with a single move, something West Ham has lacked since losing its more creative figures. Tactically, Solomon offers different solutions. He's naturally a left winger, but can also play on the right or in a more central attacking role depending on Nuno's system. That versatility provides valuable options, especially against teams that sit deep. The plan would be to use Solomon in matches that demand individual skill to break through compact defenses. Nuno values players who can alternate between possession and direct play, and Solomon could be a decisive factor in close games. There's also a psychological aspect. Signing a player from a direct rival like Tottenham sends a message both to the dressing room and the stands. It shows that West Ham are ready to compete for players at the same level as London's bigger clubs. On top of that, Solomon's motivation to redeem himself after a disappointing spell in Spain creates a story of determination that resonates with supporters. Players with something to prove often bring energy and drive, qualities Nuno has been demanding from his squad. For Tottenham, the move could also be beneficial. A successful loan in the Premier League would boost Solomon's value and keep him in the spotlight. If he performs well at West Ham, Spurs can either reintegrate him or sell him for a higher price later. It's a low-risk, high-reward decision that fits the club's pragmatic approach. Inside West Ham, the deal aligns with a recent recruitment pattern. targeted signings of players capable of making an immediate impact without disrupting the club's long-term finances. Since the departures of Pablo Fornals and Said Benrahma, the team has lacked creativity and pace out wide. Solomon wouldn't arrive as a superstar, but as a key piece to balance the attack and give Nuno tactical flexibility. Timing is also crucial. The club is currently rebuilding its identity under Nuno Espirito Santo, who has been changing how the team plays both with and without the ball. He's demanding more intensity, pressing, and aggression in attack. To sustain that style, he needs players who read space well and make fast decisions, exactly what Solomon showcased during his previous spell in England, especially with Fulham. Beyond the tactical aspect, Solomon's arrival would help create a more competitive atmosphere among the forwards. Having a new, energetic winger could push established names like Jared Bowen and Mohamed Kudus to raise their performance levels. Nuno values that kind of internal competition, which he often uses to maximize his players' potential. There's also an emotional factor. West Ham fans identify with players who show heart, effort, and a desire for redemption. Solomon represents precisely that, someone eager to prove he can shine again after a setback abroad. If he rediscovers his best form, he could easily become one of the season's surprise successes, turning a modest signing into a defining moment for the team. In short, Solomon's possible signing combines opportunity, need, and ambition. For the player, it's a chance to restart his career in a familiar environment. For West Ham, it's a clever move with potential benefits on and off the pitch. And for Tottenham, it's a way to protect and perhaps even increase the value of an underused talent. If all sides cooperate, this deal could represent much more than a simple January transfer. It might mark the beginning of a new chapter for everyone involved. So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, share, and of course subscribe to the channel for more. Take care, and I'll see you next time.